The javelin throw is characteristically a closed, discrete skill performed by an individual athlete. In the case of this video, the assumed client is a high school track and field coach, whose role is to instruct a novice high school student with nominal experience to compete in a regional javelin throw competition. Conveyance and retention of learning in conjunction with physical training are the foremost aims of this 4-week training program. According to Gentile's two-stage model of learning, fixation is also paramount in closed-skill motor learning. For fixation to occur, the student-athlete must comprehend skill segmentation and how these constituents reintegrate into the completed discrete skill. The coach must implement a regime informed by highest-level evidence to improve the quality, uptake, and retention of the student-athlete's learning by using techniques such as action planning, feedback, progressive part practice, and simplification, to improve the athlete's competence in the quantitative measure of javelin throw performance. The 4-week training program for a novice athlete includes 3 modes: instruction, practice, and conditioning, while coach feedback is vital for error correction and mitigation, evident in Hodges and Franks, 2002. The javelin throw is segmented into 6 phases: grip, preparation/setup, acceleration, crossover, begin throw, and complete throw/follow through. In the first session of the first week, a coach should induct a novice thrower by instructing and demonstrating the grip and run-up, then having the athlete practice these skills separately. This process is echoed in following sessions and weeks, progressively segmenting, rationalizing, and demonstrating skill phases. Drills of focus include those that biomechanically segregate particular muscle groups. The run-up is practiced by way of a forward run wielding the javelin. Instruction, rationalization, and demonstration of optimal acceleration. Introduction of the crossover phase post hoc facilitates the athlete's cognition of the biomechanical accommodations required in a co-occurring body transport and object manipulation, evident in Luft and Buitrago, 2005. Of note, this program is supremely informed by Fitz and Posner's work in 1967 on the 3 stages of motor skill learning. Cognitive stage learning in the first week featured reduced complexity standing throws. Conditioning training in weeks 1 and 2 used weighted medicine ball throws, before the incorporation of javelins in weeks 3 and 4. By week 4, the autonomous learning phase shall be attained in the completed javelin throw skill, allowing smooth kinetic transfer into the throw, having practiced and amalgamated the observable beginning, middle, and ending phases of the movement. 45-minute sessions 4 times per week for 4 weeks retains the student-athlete's motivation and participation, evident in Pass, Renkel, and Sweller, 2004. Feedback is provided by the coach following major indiscretions during the first week's cognitive stage of learning. This stage is characterized by a hyper-awareness and deliberacy of one's movement, evident in Fitz and Posner, 1967, and so the athlete is likely aware of their own inadequacy and divergence from provided instruction, and thus is eager to learn and improve, evident in Hodges and Franks, 2002. Common mistakes made of great magnitude include an incorrect hold on the javelin shaft at any point, releasing the javelin on the same hand, same leg, as opposed to oppositional, ground contact by the tail of the javelin, and stepping over the takeoff line. Minor mistakes require feedback and rationalization as to how they affect performance. These include, but are not limited to, the athlete holding the javelin too widely or too narrowly to their head, irregular gait in running, shaking of the arm, over or under compensation upon transition to crossover, and suboptimal angle at release, whereas optimal would be 36 to 40 degrees. And finally, poor kinetic transfer resulting in weak throws. Constructive feedback sandwiched amongst praise is the most effective method for correcting faults and retaining motivation, evident in Hodges and Franks, 2002. The javelin throw is classed as a Category 4 skill by Gentile's 16-tier taxonomy. It comprises both body transport and object manipulation, the run-up and the throw respectively. The environment is strictly regulated to the stationary, and the outcome is bereft of inter-trial variability. This is indicative of its moderate complexity. A high degree of complexity ordains part practice to be the most effectual approach, rather than whole practice, evident in Naylor and Briggs 1963. So the moderately complex javelin throw is less so stricken to part practice. A great extent of organization is also evident in the interreliance of the 6 phase orders. So a high organization skill like the javelin throw increases learning uptake and retention in whole practice, also evident in Naylor and Briggs 1963. Progressive part practice is ideal for the segmentation for learning individual javelin throw skills, whilst retaining the strict sequence of the 6 phases, evident in Fontana, Mazzardo, Furtado, and Gallagher 2009. This facilitates the athletes attaining the autonomous stage of learning pertaining to the interplay between phases, i.e., how increased speed in acceleration increases crossover torque, and thus the fine biomechanical adjustments to be made. Simplification aids motivation and retention during early cognitive stages of learning, evident in Merionboa, Kester, and Pass 2006, who may become overwhelmed with highly complex and organized skills such as the javelin throw. Simplification is implemented into the program in the removal of body transport in run-up, and the decreased complexity of throwing a weighted ball instead of a javelin in practice skills. This simplification method also increases inter-task variability within the typically homogeneous input to output ratio of the discrete practice throw, also evident in Merionboa, Kester, and Pass 2006. This greatly assists in learning uptake and transfer from the instructor by easing information processing by introducing task constraints to reduce affordance competition, evidence in Davids, Button, and Bennett 2008, resulting in greater desired focus, which results in increased motor learning uptake and retention. These accommodations would not be present in a standard segmented approach, and thus the athlete's learning would be marginalized, resulting in worse outcomes in both competition and ongoing participation. This program exemplifies the efficacy of the motor learning literature-informed approach to athlete coaching in amateurs and recommends the approach to coaches and trainers of all strides.